Hello and welcome to today's video on how to create a quick step in Microsoft Outlook. So let me first explain what a quick step is. If you're familiar with Outlook rules, let's start with that. Outlook rules are used to define how you want to process an incoming email that meets certain conditions. So for example, I might have a rule that says if I receive an email message from delta.com, then move that message immediately or directly into a folder I've set up called Delta. So as the emails come in, they get processed automatically. That's what a rule does, and rules have been around forever. We have a video specifically on how to set up and use rules. You should take a look at that if you're not using them currently. Quickstep, I believe, came on the scene with Outlook 2013. I'm going to actually show you how to use it here in Outlook 2016, but the functionality is virtually identical between those two releases. So what makes Quickstep different, it's similar to a rule except that you use the Quickstep feature after the email has come into your inbox and it's sitting in your inbox, and then you look at it and you say, okay, I want to process this a certain way. So you can see up in my home tab that I've got the Quicksteps box there, gallery is the term I should use, and these are quick step actions that are in the system. Now, a number of these are demo or pre-configured quick steps, but you'll see I have one in here called Rachel OK to Pay. So Rachel is our bookkeeper here at CPA Crossings, and so when I get an email with an invoice, once I've reviewed that invoice and it's approved, I just click that button there, and what that does is it automatically forwards the email message to Rachel. It automatically adds the text, Rachel OK to Pay, and then I think I have it delete the email after that on my end. So that way it's, with one click of the button, I've done those three pieces instead of doing them manually every time. Not a big deal in terms of time savings on an individual email, but if I have, say, 10 invoices a day to approve, yeah, then it is a big deal. It starts to save me as much as maybe 10 minutes or more on a daily basis. So I'd like to take you through the process. We're going to create one just as an example. You can see on my inbox here, I have these email messages from Cisco WebEx, which are various notifications. So what I want to do is create a quick step that when I get one of these, after I've looked at it, I want the quick step to mark it as important. I want it to be moved into a folder. You see I have a folder over here on the left called Cisco WebEx Notifications. And then I want it, after I move it to the folder, I also want to forward a copy to two of my colleagues here at CPA Crossings, Ann and Brian, because they deal with WebEx, so I want to make them aware of it. So that's going to be a classic example where it's going to do three things for me. It's going to mark the message as important, it's going to move it to a folder, and it's going to forward the message to Ann and Brian. So let me walk through and show you how that gets set up here. So I can just click the drop down in the gallery and choose Create New, or just new quick step. I guess there's two options there. And when I choose new quick step, they have some like prefabricated quick steps that I could use as a starting point, but I just want to go custom so I can show you from beginning to end everything that needs to be determined. So I choose new. The first thing you want to do is give it a name. So I'm going to call it Cisco WebEx Notifications. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Then you choose your actions. And so you got to think a little bit about what the actions are you want it to do and the order in which you want them to be done. I'm going to first of all say, let's mark it as an important message. So my first choose an action is, and these are all your actions that are available, by the way. We're not going to go through all of them. You can peruse those at your leisure. But I want to go ahead and mark it as important. And so that's really straightforward. That's a pretty easy step, right? Then I choose my next add action, and my next add action is I'm going to click the drop down. I want to move the message to a folder. So you can see that's my first choice in the list there, move to folder. And then of course I have to tell it which folder I want to move it to. So I click the drop down, it shows me all the folders in my inbox, and right at the top there I have Cisco WebEx Notification. And that's all that's going to do. So at this point, it's going to mark it as important and move the message to the Cisco WebEx Notifications folder. Then I'm going to add an action, my third action. This action is going to be to forward this. So I click my drop down, and you'll see near the bottom I've got respond. So I want to forward Now the first thing I have to do in forward is, of course, identify who I want to send it to. So I'm going to send it to Brian. So I just put in his email, and I want to send it to Ann. Put in her email. Now, when you forward an email to someone, that's an action that actually has some options. So sometimes you'll see this show options button. So let's go ahead and show the options. Okay, and this should look familiar to you. This is like showing you the options that you typically have when you are forwarding an email. So I could change the subject or leave the default. I could flag it if I want to put some kind of a follow-up flag on it. I can change the importance. So I could have just made the importance setting here. I didn't need to have that separate step because I can do it within this, but at least I just wanted to show you multiple steps. And then I'm going to put some text in there, and I'm going to say, please review this and determine if we need to do anything, okay, internally. How's that? And let me correct my spelling. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to forward the message to Brian and Ann. I'm going to leave the subject as it is, and I'm just going to add the text. Please review this message and determine if we need to do anything internally. And I guess I got to spell internally, right? There we go. That's a little better. Now, at this point, I want to make sure that you understand this setting here. Whenever you, in a quick step, have it replying to an email or forwarding an email, as I'm doing here, you have a choice whether or not to check this box. If I don't check this box, it'll do everything I want it to do except actually hit the send button. I would have to proactively or manually hit the send button. And the idea there is really to give you a chance to double check to make sure that's what you want. Otherwise, if I check the box, it's just going to go ahead and hit the send button and send it automatically after a 1 minute delay. So I at least have a minute to change my mind. But let's leave it unchecked for this first one. So I'll click finish. All right. So I've got my cursor. Now the key is you have to have your cursor on the message so it knows which message to apply it to. So I've got that first message highlighted there. And now you can see I have, let's click, well, there it is right there, Cisco WebEx. And when I hover over it, it gives me the full name. So all I have to do is click on that. And all you see on the screen right now is we're at the point where it's ready to send it to Ann and Brian. You'll see that it put the text in there. Please review this message and determine if we need to do anything internally. You'll notice it's already marked as high importance because I did that in a previous step. And that's all there is to it. Now let's go back and change the quick step. Let me close this. I'm not gonna send this. I'm gonna just close it out, cancel it. And I'm gonna go into my quick steps. I want to manage my quick steps. And I'm in the Cisco WebEx notification. I want to, you can see it off to the right here. I want to edit it. And all I'm going to change here is I'm going to go into my emailing options, and I'm going to go ahead and send it after a 1 minute delay. So I will go ahead and click save now. And this time let's run it again. We'll go ahead and choose Cisco WebEx notification. And the only thing you might have noticed, it took it out of that inbox. It's over here in my notifications folder. And what you'll notice also is that when I scroll down, or if you look at my outbox, the messages sit in the outbox, and we'll just let it sit here, and I'll talk for 30 seconds. But after the 1 minute's up, you're going to see it's going to just head on out of my inbox. Head on out of my outbox. And so you have to decide: do you want to have the ability to hit the send button and make the decision when to send it or not, or do you want to allow Outlook to send it for you automatically? Sure seems like a long minute to me, and we'll let it go here. So you got rules. We'll process your emails as they come in. Quick steps is to process emails after they're already in your inbox, and then you want to go ahead and send them out. Here we go. Now you can see it's at the bottom of the screen. It's sending the message. Should be sending it right away. I don't know, it's taking a little bit of time there, but we do have the sending message 101, and there it goes. Now that message has been sent out to Ann and Brian. So that's how you use Quick Steps. I hope you found this little video helpful. We have a whole library of tips and tricks videos on all the various Office 365 applications. Thank you, and have a great day.